I was 22 when I proposed. She was
Yes,
21.
I was 21.
I remember when we were getting married, my aunt told us, don't let anybody tell you that you're too young to get married. There are some of us who got married at 40 and still got it wrong. Hi, my name is Victor Machoka. I am a hotelier by profession. I wear many hats, but for right now, I can say I'm a hotelier by profession. I'm the managing director of Fred's Ranch and Resort. I am a director at Talent Soko Africa, and this is my girlfriend and full-time wife.
I thought it was the other way around.
The girlfriend,
Wife
it
and
depends,
full-time
it
girlfriend.
depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Okay, my name is Linda Machoka. I am the sales and marketing director of Fred's Ranch Resort. I'm also the founder of Talent Soko, and I'm a mother of 3 beautiful sons, and I'm happy to be here. And this is our love story.
Where did we meet? That's an interesting story. We met in campus. We met in campus, and it was love at first sight.
That's a lie. Nothing like love at first. Okay, anyway, it wasn't love at first sight for us. So say the truth.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't. At least for her, it was love at first sight. But we met in campus, and we were not looking for love. I don't think either of us was looking to get married or get in a relationship. So it was a very interesting coincidence. But when we met, I was in my 3rd year and she was in her 1st year. She was just coming into campus in Utali College. We were both doing hospitality. And so the first time I saw her, I was a bit scared because she was very hyper then. And
Manzi wa mtaa.
Yeah, so
Nice maker.
yeah, I'm a more calm and collected person, you know, or I like to think I am. So there, at that time I wasn't so sure this was the kind of person that I wanted to be with, and I wasn't looking for relationships. I was just thinking, woo, too much sauce. But then after I got to know her, coincidentally we got to know each other, and then now I'm the one who started pursuing her, and I fell in love with her, and we fell in love, and we started dating after about a year.
Yes.
And then a year later, we decided to get married. So as soon as we graduated from campus, we decided to get married. We got married about 6 months after graduating.
We actually decided to get married, you know, both students in campus. So
yeah, I proposed.
Interesting.
And niliona huyo akigraduate mazee akiingia maisha.
Atanyakuliwa huko nje, so ajitetee mapema.
Yeah,
because we're in the hospitality industry, and in the hospitality industry it's crazy. Someone mentioned media industry, how it's tough. Hospitality industry is the same thing.
It's probably
so
much
I think
more difficult. Yeah.
When we met and we were friends, we just started out as friends. Okay, he was handsome, good looking, and I thought
anyway,
okay, he's
sorry,
still
it's
handsome.
your story. Okay, carry on.
Very handsome. In fact, you're more handsome than you are then.
It's all right.
Yeah, so he was very attractive. So I used to look at him and admire him and tell my friends, hey, that guy looks good. But I'm like, hata sitaki kumwangalia mara pili. These guys who look good, most of them, they're not to be trusted. So I was like, unless I know him better, huyu namweka tu bench like all the other nice looking guys. So at one point, I think one of my friends told me, by the way, that guy that you have a crush on, guess what? Hey, by the way, he was even preaching in the CU. I was like, are you serious? I said, wacha twende hiyo CU tuone if he's really a good person. So from that time is when the interest came in. But pole pole, we got to meet. He invited us to his room. He was running away from me. That's why it's not love at first sight. But when he discovered that I'm not that rowdy, or rather I'm rowdy, but I can also be very nice and sweet. Yeah, darling. That's when he started getting interested in me, and from there our friendship started off, and we were very good friends. I think for about a year, and then for some reason he proposed. Aki, we were so young.
Yeah.
How old were you, honey?
Barely a teenager.
Oh no, you're not a teenager in college.
I was 23. Actually, I was 22 when I proposed. She was 21.
I was 21.
Yeah.
And imagine I said yes. By the way, I think ni God alinisaidia niseme yes. Ideally, right
Yes.
now I wouldn't have said yes.
Looking back right now, we would
No.
not advise somebody along those lines very strongly. But it was good. I think one of the things that we learned from that is there's no timing. You know, this question that guys always ask, you know, how do I know when is the right time to get married? I remember when we were getting married, my aunt told us, I'll never forget, don't let anybody tell you that you're too young to get married. There are some of us who got married at 40 and still got it wrong. So there's no right age to get it right. There's no age when you are too young. There's no age when you're too old.
Yeah.
And so that really encouraged us, because guys were looking at us and saying, oh, ni watoto. And then when they got children, they said, watoto wako na watoto.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that really helped.
At that point, I was staying with a guardian. That was my uncle, because my mom was unwell and they had separated with my dad earlier on. So my parent at that point was my uncle, a very strict man. By the way, I really appreciate him. He took me to school and he formed me to be who I am.
Mr. Stuma, by the way.
Yes.
Hats off to that gentleman.
So
yeah.
My uncle was terror. By the way, don't even talk about having a girlfriend. Story of marriage, Sangapi, and you're talking of girlfriend. No, there's no such thing. You're here to study. Linda, you're supposed to be studying. So there was no way I was going to tell him anything. So I told this guy, listen, me, I've accepted to get married to you. But my uncle, you will be the one to go and face him. Me, I can't even start. And so we decided first to go to his parents and tell them, because at least he was staying with his parents, they were closer to him. And for me, I just said, you know what, if this is the right thing, sawa, let the parents endorse. But if it's the wrong thing, please let the parents just say no. So I kind of laid a fleece. And then we went and visited the parents. So I was really shocked at their reaction.
That's right. Let me tell you, that was interesting, you know. And maybe that's a place where it's so important we learned, I think the whole journey, we were learning a lot of stuff, and we learned something about honoring the parents, because I think if we had tried to go around that particular matter, tungekwama, for sure. And so we had to come home and, you know, started with my parents, tell them, hey, I have met the person that I love, and we want to get married. We were expecting that they were going to turn us down and say, no, go work fast, you're still living in this house.
Yeah. We hadn't graduated, by the way.
Tuko shule,
sini wanafunzi.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to tell our parents that we want to get married.
I'm telling you.
Just tell my son, if he's watching this, not to try it at home.
We shall say no. And I'm joking. So yeah, we went and we spoke to them, and shockingly, they just asked us a few questions. When they realized these guys are serious, they said, so when do you want to get married?
Imagine.
And we said, so we were shocked, first of all. We're like, boss, tusimamishe, stop us. Somebody stop us.
Yeah.
But they are like, no, it's okay if you guys are serious. When do you want to get married? And we set a date for a year later, but then we did some math and we realized it wouldn't work. We moved the date up from December to June.
It was actually them who told us we had pushed the date too far. Can you imagine?
Yes.
You're telling them you want to get married, and then they're like, when do you want to get married? Like sometime next year. It was around December this year. Yeah. Then they say, sometime next year. They said, that's too far. Kwani, what do you need to do to get married? I was like, what do you mean? I mean, kufanya harusi, si unachinja tu ng'ombe moja. Ng'ombe moja, it will feed how many people? And then you buy some rice. Raka sana, you guys. So just get married in January. I was shocked. I was really shocked. And I was like, okay, so
me was excited. Me
personally.
Me was okay.
So anyway, we ended up getting married in June. So we settled for the middle part. But then now, his dad had to come and meet my uncle, the tough man. And my uncle is an architect. So he thought, uni customer amekuja, because he had no idea that Linda wanted to get married.
That was...
So what happened is... Aliokaribisha vizuri sana. Akasema, hey, Machoka, karibu. You've come to visit me. He thinks he's getting business. Then Machoka is like, by the way, you know, this is my son Victor, and it's like he's interested in your niece. Hey, the man was like, wait. These guys were students. Me, I'm just the uncle. enda mpaka Western, enda mpaka huko Sirisia, Wekeleha, tafuta babake. The father is still alive. If he says, okay, me, I'm good. But me, I'm not into that story. And that's how it ended. And so anyway, we thank God my dad accepted. And yes, we got married. Our other extended family, they were worried. Were like, Linda, ebu kuja kwanza. Are you pregnant? Unajua kuwa na ball si mwisho. You know, I tell you, when you're pregnant, that doesn't mean you have to get married. So wefanya hivi, tuambie tu kweli, we see how to help. Like, baby, I'm not pregnant. We just made a decision. And they accepted and they honored our decision. And the wedding plan started. And yeah, we found ourselves married.
We found ourselves married, young people. I think I was 23, she was 22 when we got married. The wedding planning was good because we had a lot of backup from family. So all our parents came in. We were one of the first cousins to get married in the extended family. Of my family, my dad's family, they're about 10. So there are 10 families, and we were one of the first guys to get married in Kenya. I think everybody came in. There was a lot of excitement. Family came in. Her family came in. Even
and I also had my friends from high school who are still in campus. The kahunas, hey, they were the committee members. They have never known what a relationship is about. They did not know what a marriage is about, but they just knew, you know what, we can organize this event. So we came together, planned the event, and then we were very lucky. By the time we were crossing into, we had graduated, because we got married after the graduation. He was working at Mamba Village as the general manager. That was his second job or third job? Second job. And that place is beautiful. And he was told by his boss, you know what, I'll give you grounds for free. So it made it very easy. It wasn't expensive because we got free grounds at that time. And we, of course, tulichinjwa hiyo ng'ombe. We were promised na mchele. And then, the wedding took place and it was lovely. People really enjoyed themselves. Yeah.
I think the challenging part was after the wedding. That's where the rubber meets the road. Eh? Yeah, I think if I was to talk to anybody today, I would tell them, boss, forget the wedding. Forget the wedding.
Plan the marriage.
Plan the marriage. Especially take off. Plan the takeoff. Guinness G, funga seatbelt, buy your tickets. That's child's play. So that's where now things got interesting. One of the most challenging places is nobody told us what happens when two grown-ups live together. And you have your whole life coming into that house. She has her whole life coming into that house. There's the different dynamics, because I'm not me. I am a fusion of my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my cousins, the schools I went to, my teachers and all that, and same thing to her, which are totally different.
For me, it was difficult. First of all, I was waiting to see the true colors. You know, kuna vile una get married, lakini unangoja true colors. So you're not sure kama this guy atakuwa committed. So when you fight kidogo, you just think, by the way, leo sahi anakuja tu kudivorce sahi in the next 5 minutes. So I used to look at him and tell him, so now that nimekukasirisha, are you going to divorce me? Every day we have a fight. Are you going to divorce me? He says, Linda, listen, what's a fight on plain field? I can't keep fighting. As in, I can't be open with you if you're thinking you're going to run away. That was one. And then, of course, the shock of getting married is this guy is totally different from me. How he handles things ni different. Yeye anataka kufanya budget this way. Me, I want to do my budget this other way. So kushikua sikizana hapo, it took a bit of time. And also asking each other, by the way, how do we handle now our friends? See, we were single before that. So this guy had got his tea girls. Najua people wako na ka coffee dates zake. He wants to continue going to his coffee dates.
Ngoja, are we still recording?
And here I am. I'm thinking, hey, my friend, see now we are married. Sasa hii ma coffee date sasa itasaidia, you know. So it was tough, as in setting rules. Unaenda wapi? Uko na nani? What are you doing? How do you manage? You know, those kinds of challenges. So we had to sit down and like sort of set standards and say, okay, sasa, now that we are married, how do you want to do this? You know, what are you free to do? What are you not free to do? If I do this, do you think you'll be comfortable? And if you do that, will I be comfortable? So kama it's not comfortable with me, then it should also not be comfortable with me. So we had to sort of like
Yeah, set some ground rules.
Set ground rules, tusikizane. And then now also, since him, he has a family, they're very close, also figure out, so how do we reach out to this family? How do we reach out to this other family? Because now the families are also different. So those are, I think, some of the challenges. Me, what I'll say is, when people get married also, they need to be told that you could get pregnant immediately after, and your life will change forever.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's also another
Oh,
adjustment. It was tough. I say anytime I go for a bridal shower, I tell the bride, skiza, you're getting married. After that night, you could get pregnant 9 months down the line. And then you will not be the same Linda. It depends. Some of them, they have easy pregnancies, others don't have. But you know what?
Yeah.
It could change. You could become sick. You could have morning sickness. You will hate him like this guy. Do you know when I got pregnant, I stayed 7 months. I could not kiss him. 7 good months. Na akipiga spray anambia fanya hivi. Carry your colognes. Piga after umetoka kwa mlango, piga cologne. Ukirudi toa tu nguo immediately, urushe kwa nguo chafu, and then go and shower before you come and say hi to me. So those are changes that come in.
It's like COVID. I was being prepared for COVID.
That come in that people never tell you when you're getting married. The stress of pregnancy, the stress of birth, and all those things. But yes. Yeah.
For me, it was not that difficult. I think I was more naive. I was very foolish, I would say. If I would go back, I would do it differently. I was very foolish. I was very selfish. So I think she's the one who...
He was a boy.
Yeah. What? Cut. Anyway, for real, I was a child. I think I was a child in many ways. People were right. But also, I would credit it again to that issue of probably not getting that intense advice, or not listening when that advice was there, because I would go do my own things, come back late sometimes. I never used to drink or stuff like that, but I would go out sometimes with the boys, and maybe we are shooting pool, kitukayo, we are relaxing, but I'm not thinking that she's at home alone, or at home alone with a child. And so, looking back right now, it was very insensitive, things like those. I think some of the ways I would handle her, I didn't understand where she's coming from. I remember when we would have arguments, and she's thinking, juu tumekosana hivi, this guy is going to walk away. This guy is going to leave me. And so me, I'm not knowing that is the insecurity she's dealing with. So for her, that's the risk. That if I continue this argument, I'm going to lose my marriage. For me, I'm thinking, if I continue this argument, and if I lose, ataskia poa. Mi nataka kusikia poa. I want to win this argument. So what is at stake for me is an argument. What's at stake for her is her marriage. And that was so unfair for her. Because we'd argue, and then we get to a place she stops. So I'm like, I've won. Menyamaza juu. Have you understood what I was saying? Yes. I'm right, yeah? And right now when I look back, I think that's what I feel was so naive of me. If I could undo, that's the one thing I would undo. But I didn't understand her sociological context. I didn't understand her upbringing, where she's coming from. And so I wasn't fighting fair. So one of the most powerful things I learned from somebody is don't sleep, stay up and fight. Don't go to bed angry. So we learned how to fight. I learned how to handle her, how to be more gentle with her, how to be careful. I thought that I was the sensitive one. We only grow up East Lando, so hard knock life. I did not realize that she actually needed more love and care. So I think that was the main thing. For the first few years, I was very callous. I was very careless. And those are the things that I came to learn with age. And when I did, our marriage became much more sweeter. Yeah.
Looking back, this is 14 years later. That's quite a long time.
Yeah.
I think our marriage has changed maybe 20 times. 20 times since then. The journey is just the journey. Like today, what we're going through is totally different from what we went through yesterday. Yeah. So there's been a journey of course, the way I said, the shock of getting pregnant. First of all, the honeymoon, lovely. We are having a good time. There's the confronting each other, not knowing how to fight, how to solve a problem, setting the ground standards and saying these are our rules, hatuendangi nje hivi, you don't zunguka like that.
Handling finances.
Then now it comes to handling finances, then handling children. Kwanza, there's a time this guy lost his job. Where. That was a tough one.
I'd been sent home, I was serving my leave.
Yeah.
And we just decided, you know what, why don't we see whether we can start something? We'd been dreaming about it as a family. We've been talking about it for years. There's some land that we had there, my parents have there. And we said, why don't we start? So I think that triggered the timing. It triggered that timing.
Yeah.
But it was a very momentous move, because it required us moving from Nairobi. We were staying in a very nice estate in Nyayo Estate, Taj Village, in Embakasi. You know, ile maisha mzuri, weekend unapeleka gari pale inaoshwa, unaingia kwa kinyozi. So maisha ya mwanaume tu, maisha mzuri tu yani. And then now you're moving to Isinya. So yeah. Even right now when I say Isinya, I know probably people don't know what Isinya is. So we had to move there kwa mandizi, kwa mahindi, nini. Sold our car. We bought a horse instead of the car. So now we had no car. And we just decided, you know what, you know where you can stay in silence like this? You've not heard a sound the whole day. Ni ngombe tu unasikia na kondo. And that was quite a culture shock.
Yeah.
I think for me, maybe this is also part of what we're talking about. It was part of that transition.
The changes in marriage.
In a marriage where things happen that change you.
Yeah.
And I remember I had somebody saying that things are easy when you're moving in marriage, but it's in the corners. Unajua ukiwa juu ya nduthi na unabebwa na pikipiki, when the motorbike guy turns, even you turn.
Yeah.
If you don't turn, mtaanguka. And I keep telling my wife that it's in the corners that you lose each other. When life turns, if you're not turning together, that's where you lose each other.
Yeah.
And that was a very difficult moment, because she was still working at Kenya Airways. Bado anaamka ananyonga suti, you know, anaenda job 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning anaenda. She's in corporate. Mimi hapo unaamka, wezi nyongea mbuzi suti. So unaamka unavaa kofia, God papa, unavaa jeans. I had my suits zimepangana kwa closet and I can't wear them because niko kwa vumbi, kwa shamba. And my life started turning. I became more quiet. I became, you know, now when you're in the quiet, you're thinking all the time, you're not with people. I would stay 2 weeks sijaonana na mtu, apart from my family. So my life is also changing, because the life of an entrepreneur is very different from employment.
Sure.
Now you need to think, you need to plan ahead, you need to ask yourself, where are we going? How will I take care of my children? And I remember that was one of the turning points she's talking about, because after about a year, we started going through some stress, because my mind has shifted and now I want her to come join me, but she's not yet shifted because we've had trauma. 3 times I've resigned and we almost lost each other. We almost lost everything. She's like, you know what, I'm not doing that again. I'm not playing that game again. We've got 3 kids. We're not playing that game. So let me continue working as an insurance. That time I'm thinking, you don't believe in this job. You don't believe in me. You don't think I've got it all together. That's why you don't want to resign. And we had a really difficult time because
Candid
now
talks.
we were at a corner. But one thing that really helped is, I remember my friend said, when he was getting married, he's called Agufa. When he was getting married, he said, in his vows, he said, I promise to always come home. So we laughed. We laughed at that point, but that thing has been so important for him, and it mattered to me as well, that we always came home. Because when you come home, you have to deal with whatever it is that is happening at home. So you'd come home, you look at each other, and you're like, yes, so we are here. Tupigane, ama tufanye nini? And we kept turning together. So I realized that you can't turn alone. So we started making sure that when we are making our transitions, we do them together. When we are taking loans, we take them together. When we are making commitments, life commitments, we make them together, make sure everybody is on the same page. And then now we turn. And I think that was a turning point, so to speak, in our marriage, because since then, no matter what difficulty we have gone through, we've always made it through together. We've always come through together. Yes, there'll be some issues, but somehow we make it through together. And that's how Fred's Ranch has grown, actually.
Yes.
That's just the love story. Our side, it's a family business, so all of us are in it. But our side of the story is we've always done stuff together. So even when she resigned from Kenya Airways on her own terms. Ye mwenye alikuja akasema, nimepeana barua, I'm done, I'm coming. Now that also was difficult. Now you're working with your wife, you're living with your wife, so you don't know who you're talking to. Sometimes she would confuse, ajui anaongelesha MD ama anaongelesha sweetie. So that was also part of it, but we kept turning together, and that helped.
Dear Victor, the love of my life, the love of my youth, I'm so blessed to have you. 14 years down the line, thinking back, if I could have made any different decision, I would still have chosen you as my spouse. I have been waiting to see if you will change and become a nightmare, which I'd seen with many marriages around me, but that did not happen. Instead, you just became more and more beautiful. Became like a rose stone that was rubbed on until it became a gold. And I'm just happy to have you. You have been not only a friend, you have been a very kind spouse, very loving, very caring, which I really admire about you. You have supported me through the birth of our 3 sons that we are having right now. You have walked with me through the journeys of ups and downs. If you look at my photos, I was not the same person I was right now physically. You still find me beautiful, which was one of the fears I had. And I thank God for you. And most of all, the fact that you know God, you love God, and you prioritize Him in your life makes me know that I'm secure, that you are not just loving me for who I am, but you're also loving me because the Word of God says so. And therefore, I know when I wrong you, you will look at me from a forgiving perspective, and I really appreciate that. And that helps me to be able to correct my mistakes, may become a more better partner for you. And I just want you to know that I love you, and I cannot wait to see another 14 years, how it will turn out. I enjoy the journey of working with you as a boss and still being your spouse at home and still having you as my boyfriend. And I pray for God to give us a long life ahead. Yeah.
Page 3. Endelea.
That's my love letter.
Wow, that's amazing. How do I top that? I don't top that. If I was to write you a love letter, I think I would take probably another 2 hours just thinking about what to write. I would probably write about 10 pages, you know, throw the papers in the bin.
And start off again.
And start off again, all over and over, because you have been amazing to me. I can't imagine myself becoming somebody else other than your husband.
Wow.
I can't imagine myself doing life without you. I don't know how to do life without you. In a few years, I'll have known you for the same amount of time that I have lived without you. And probably after that, it will be longer. And I'm so excited about the future. I never thought that I would get into a marriage where the intimacy would grow and get sweeter as we go along. I always knew that only young people understand intimacy. I did not know that intimacy is actually for the mature. I love God, and one of the reasons why I love Him is He gave me you. That's something that I'm always grateful for. I'm responsible to Him for you. So that's why I call you my princess, because you belong to Him. So my commitment to you, I'm sorry to say, most of the time has nothing to do with you.
I know.
It is because I love Him and I honor Him. But it is one of the most beautiful things that I have to be obedient about. It is a treasure for me to be faithful to you. You make it so easy. I feel for the men out there who have to do marriage without someone like you. And I feel honored that I get to do it with you. So thank you for being you. Thank you for being real. Thank you for being a real gem to me. And I can't wait for the next 23 and the next 23 and the next 23.